Hey viewers, in this video I'm going to tell you that how to make this type of to-do list, and here I'm not using any JavaScript library. I will make it completely in pure JavaScript. So if you are new here, you can subscribe this channel for more videos just like this one. Now let's see the demo. What we can do with this list: we can add list, we can update any list, or we can delete any list. Here you can see this is something that is visible when there is no list available to show. Okay, now let's try it by adding a list. Work on Sunday. You can press enter or you can press this button. Let's press enter and you can see our list is visible. Now let's add another list and edit, and we can edit many of list like this. Now if you want to update any list, you can click on this icon here. So let's click on this icon and you can update any of list. Let's try, and let's change this word into work fine. Okay, now let's click on update, or you can click on enter button. Both will work. You can select any list by clicking on this sign here in the left side, and you can see our list is selected. Now you can click on this delete icon to delete this list. Here I'm also using local storage, so if I refresh the page, the list will remain same as it is here. Okay, let's try it. You can see after refreshing the page, list remains same because I'm using here local storage to store these lists. Now let's try to delete any list by clicking on this icon here. You can see the list is deleted. You can delete any of list by clicking on this icon here, and you can add any of list, you can update, or you can select any list. Now let's open the code editor. Here I'm using VS Code, and here I have three files: app.js, index.html, and style.css. And you can use any of code editor which you like most, but here I'm using only VS Code. Now let's open our index.html and let's make first of all our template for the to-do list. Okay, so let's try. First of all, I will make the heading that is visible upper side. WebTricks. Okay, let's write it. Now next I will create the main card by main element, and inside this main element I'll need form element. So I will take this form element, and inside this form element I will take two inputs, first for text, second one for button. So for input here I'm using type text, and for button here I'm using type submit. And after this form container I'll make another div to show something that is visible when there is no list available to show. Let's try to make it something. And after this I'll make the list. Here I'm using UL tag to make list, and inside this UL tag let's add li tag. This will show list item. Here I'm also using marked class, which I will use to select the list. Next I'm using marker div to show this type of sign here in the left side. Next I'll show the text, and after this I'll need here icons, that is here delete or edit icon. Okay, here I'm using SVC icon for the delete icon and edit icon. Now everything works fine. Now our template is ready. Now we need to add style here. Now let's open our style.css file. In this style.css file, first of all I will select all the element by using asterisk sign here, and I will give it margin 0, padding 0, and box sizing border box. So this will apply to all the elements. And for the body I'm using 100 viewport height, and here I'm using flexbox to center all the elements. And font family is Popis, that is installed in my computer. You should use font files in the upper side of this file to use this font. Okay, next I will give the style to these headings. H1, I will keep it simple as possible. Then span, color, and second span, color. And from this point our main style is begin. Okay, first of all I will make this white card. Okay, so I will apply the style to this main element. So let's select this main element here, and here I gave this 400 pixel width and 400 pixel height, and for the background I'm using white color. Now next I will select form container. I will give it 100% height, I mean width, and flex to center the element. Next I will select the form. It will also have a 100% width and a border in the bottom side. Next I will select these inputs, and I will give this style here, and height will be 37 pixels and width will be 100%. And let's add a pseudo class focus. What happened when we focus the element? So it will have a border color, but here because both are inputs, so this style is applies to these two elements. Here you can see here both are inputs. So here first of all I will select button and I will give the style. Now it looks great. Okay, and I will also use here active pseudo class. Then what happened when this button class is active, I mean this button element is active, and I will also give hover style. After this I will give style to these list elements. So first of all I will select this empty element, I mean this element by this class empty list, that is here. You can see this element. Okay, so I will give this style with 100%, and here I'm using flags to center the elements, and for the span I'm using 14 pixel width, I mean pixels font size, and icon will be 25 pixels. Next I will create these list items. For this first of all I will select list wrapper and I will make it scrollable. So here I'm giving overflow hidden and overflow y auto, so this will make this scrollable. Next I will give the style to the list items. So here I'm selecting list items and I will give 100% width, and for the centering element I'm using here flexbox. I'll also give this hover class, hover style. Okay, so when we hover the list items, so background will be changed. Next I will create these markers. Okay, so I will give it 14 pixels height and 14 pixels width, and this has a border of 1 pixels. Next I will give the style to the icons, and then I will need to give the height of the icons to the icons. Okay, so this will be 20 pixels and 20 pixels. It is working. Okay, next let's select hover class. When we hover the icons, what happen? So here I'm using transform. It will scale up, and when we active the element, this will scale down. I will also give the height and width to these SVG elements also. And first of all, I will give the display none to these delete icons. Okay. Next, let's select SVG, and I'm giving height 14 pixels and width 14 pixels. Now this looks great. Okay. Next, I will add here this mark class. Let's see the use of this mark class. So for this, I will make two list items. For the reference, you can see one has mark class and one has not. Okay. Now let's add style by using this mark class. Okay. So here, first of all, I will select span tag here. So if this list item has this mark class, so then this span will have a text decoration, that is line through. Okay, this is here. Next, then I will also add marker class. When list item has a mark class, then the marker has a background color like this. Now when a list item has a mark class, then the delete icon should be visible but added icon should not be visible. Okay, so here what I am doing, I will select this and I will give this flags. Okay, I'm in block. Okay, and next I will also add this mark class with added icons, and this will display none. Now it looks great. Okay, let's add JavaScript file in this index.html. Now let's open app.js file. Here app.js. Okay, here first of all I will create a functions that will help to select an element from the DOM. So here I have created this function selector, and it has two parameters, path and second one is parent with default value documents, and I will select from this parent using query selector functions with this path. Okay, now first of all I will select empty list. Second, I will select list container in which I will insert list items. Next, form, and next input element, from which I will take value that user input. Next is button, and then I will create a object in which all the list data will be stored. So here I am creating a data array, and in this data array I will insert each list item data like this. First, it has a property text which holds text value. Second is done, it means this section that is selected or not. And third is id. I will use this id to uniquely find these list item in this array. Second is current, and I will use this property when I will update any row, I mean list item. Okay, next, first of all I will add a event listener to this form, that is submit, and I will run a functions when the form will submit. And then first of all I will prevent the default behavior of the function, that is refreshing the page and sending the data to the server. And here first of all I will check that input value is empty or not. If this is empty, then I will simply return from this function, and then if not, then I will check todo.current value. If this is equal null, it means we are inserting value. If not, it means we are updating value. And whenever I will update any list item, I will initialize that index to this current property. Okay, so if this is equal null, it means we are inserting a list item. So first of all I will create the object that is similar to this. First of all, text, and it means input value. Second is done, that is default false, and last one is id. I will create id using math random function. Next, what I will do, I will give the style to this empty list to none, because we are inserting a row, so it should be hide. Then I will insert the data to this data array, and after this all I will run this function create list, and I will pass this data. And this create list function is not available now, I will create it. And after this all I will again make the input value empty. Okay, now let's create this function create list. Here first of all I will check that everything working fine or not, so I will simply log this data to the console using console log function. Let's try it. Okay, so first of all let's open the console here. Now let's test it. You can see when I will click on this add function, nothing is happened because it's checking this value. Next I will insert something like value 1. Let's add it, and you will see here in the console, and this style is applies. Okay, and here in the console text equal value 1, done equal false, and id is something that is random value. Now let's insert second value. Again let's see, you can see it is working. Now let's check to do data array, and this data property holds two items. Here you can see first value 1, second is second. It means it is working. Okay, so what I will do, I will remove this, and then at the top of this file I will create a element that is HTML element. Okay, and I will create this using document create late functions, and this will be temporary container because I will use this here temp container, and I will use the property of in HTML to insert element as a string that is here. Let's copy it and I will paste it here. Okay, so currently this is a string, but after inserting as a inner HTML this will be converted to DOM elements. So then I can use these elements to add event listeners. Okay, now let's see what we got as a parameter. So first of all I will add here mark class if data dot done is true. Okay, otherwise empty string, and here I will add text, so data dot text. Okay, next what I will do here, let's select these element using this temp container dot first element child, so it will return the first element that is here li tag. Okay, so it will return first element that we have inserted here in this temp container. Okay, now after getting this element I will insert this element in this list container element, so it will be appended at the last. After that what I will do, I will select the element marker that is here. Okay, you can see this, I will select this using class marker, and the second parameter I will pass this current element, so it means it will select this marker from this current element. Okay, so I will add here a listener that is click. Now let's run a functions. Whenever user click on this elements, so this function will run. So what we will do in this functions, I will first get the index of the current data. So how can I do this, I will run this function get index. Okay, currently it is not defined, I will define it later. So this will just return the index of the data that is inside this array. Okay, like 0 1 2 anything, it will just return an index of that data. Here I'm passing data.id as a parameter. Next I will check if this data index dot done is true, it means it is already selected, so we have to remove the class marked, okay, that we have added here, you can see. Otherwise in the else conditions I will add the mark class. Now element working fine. Next I will also change the data inside the array. So what I will do, I will change this done to false, I mean opposite value. Like if this is true, it will change to false. If this is false, it will change to true. Let's try it. But first of all, let's define this function get index. Okay, where we define here, let's define it, get index, this function. Okay, and here first of all I will use find index functions, so it will get the index of the element from this array if there is id is equal to the this id that is passed as a parameter. Okay, now let's see it's working or not. Let's add a list item here. Okay, we have got an error. Okay, let's see what the error is. Okay, this should be data not done. Okay, typing mistake. What happened here? Autocomplete. Okay, let's move the data.text. Now let's check it, and now let's insert something value here. You can see here third row. Now we can select this. Okay, because we have here a event listener. Let's click on this icon. You can see it is selected. Now if I check the data that is inserted here, so let's check it, TODO data, and that is in first index, I mean 0 index. Okay, so you can see this is done equal true. Next I will add another listener that will listen to update the list item. Okay, so let's add here, and this will be same but classes will be changed. So this time this will be added, and let's remove extra lines from this function. And now let's add, first of all I will update this todo.current with the index. Currently it is null, but I will change it here it to index. Next I will change the text inside this button, and next I will insert this text in the input value. I will select this using index. So okay, now here in this else condition, now let's write statements. First of all I will use console log to see it is working or not. Okay, let's insert something, click on this, click on update, and let's see the console, and here it can see it is working. Okay, now we can write update statement. Okay, so first of all what I will do, I will select this li tag using nth child function, that is css functions. Okay, and it is one index waste, and here this is array index, so this is 0 index waste. Okay, so what I will do, I will add 1 to this index, okay, here, and it will select the span inside the list item. Okay, then I will change the text content of the element with the current input element values. Next, I will change the text in the array also, array element also. Okay, and I will pass index as this TODO data dot current, and I will change the text input dot value. Next, I will again make this current value to the null, and then I will change this button value to add again, and at the last input value will be empty. Now let's check it is working or not. Now let's comment these lines because we don't need these lines anymore. I will insert them using JavaScript. Okay, so now let's try it, and here let's try to insert a row, data1 and data2. Now let's try to update it, and I will change this 1 2 3. Okay, you can see it is updated. Okay, now it is working and it is selecting also. Now let's add another listener to delete any row. Okay, let's add here. I will copy these lines and I will paste it here, and I will change this class with this class delete. Now I will also remove these lines because we don't need these lines, and I will add new statement. First of all, I will add here remove function, so this will remove this current element from the DOM element, and then I will also remove that element from the array using these splice functions, because we have an index and we can remove this index from the array. Then I will make this input to empty, and then I will change this current to null, and then I will also change button value to add. After this, I will check that to-do list length is 0 or not. If this is 0, so what I will do, I will again change the style of this empty list element to the flags. Okay, so it will be visible. Now let's check it here. Let's add elements. Now let's select one of these elements, and we can update also. You can see changed. We can update any of element. Now let's try to select and then click on delete. You can see row is deleted. Now also check here, there is no error. We can delete any of list. Okay, so now next, everything working fine. Now we will add local storage functionality. Okay, for this, first of all, I will define a function get local storage data. So this will check if there is in data available in local storage or not. Here get item function will check this to-do data name in this local storage. Okay, if any data is available, so I will check if data available, then I will parse that data using json.parse functions, because data cannot be array or object, that is always string. Okay, so we have to parse that string to array again. And now because we have a data, so we have to insert that data into these HTML elements. So for this, I will run this for each loop, and I will pass create list functions as a parameter to this loop function. Okay, so this will run this function for each list items. Okay, here I will also check the data length. If this is more than 1, I mean more than 0, so I will change this empty list style to none. Okay, and now I will create another function set local storage data, And in this functions, first of all I will use json.stringify functions. So this will convert this array into string, because we can only insert string into local storage. Okay, so after that I will use this local storage dot set item functions, and I will pass this data as a second parameter. And now let's call first functions get local storage data. So whenever the page refreshes, this function will run get local storage data, and this will load available data. And now I will copy these functions and I will run this function every time whenever data changes from this array. So here I will run whenever we insert a new row or we are updating any row. Okay, I will call this function, and then I will also run this function here when I select any row, and after that I will use these functions inside this function also whenever we delete any row. Now everything right, let's check it. You can see this hello because this is currently is in local storage. Let's check it. Here you can see todo data. I will delete this data. Let's delete it. Now let's refresh again, and this time it is empty. Okay, now let's try to add something. Hello list value add. You can see it is adding here hello list value, and done equal false, and whenever I will change this, you can see data is changed here, true, false and true. Okay, so guys, if you like this video, press the like button, and you can also subscribe this channel for more videos just like this one. Thanks guys for watching this video.